So today we're looking at the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Cups is a deeply intuitive and emotional figure. She embodies compassion, empathy and emotional intelligence. Let's now have a look at the symbolism on this card. So the Queen is seen here sat on a throne by the sea holding a cup, and the throne represents stability and authority. So the throne placed right by the sea shows her deep connection to emotions and the subconscious, and the sea represents the vast and ever-changing realm of emotions, highlighting her comfort and authority in navigating emotional landscapes. The cup that she's holding signifies that her emotions and inner knowledge are deep and private. She's protective of her feelings and of the feelings of others, and she values emotional security. The cup is quite nicely designed, and this emphasises the depth and richness of her emotional world and her ability to cherish and protect sensitive feelings. So the water here with the shore here symbolises emotions, intuition and the subconscious mind, and the proximity of the throne to the water indicates her deep connection to her inner world and emotional nature. The calmness of the water reflects her serenity and ability to maintain peace even when emotions are involved. Her blue cloak and robes here, blue being the colour of tranquility, intuition and healing, suggests that she embodies these qualities, and the white lining indicates purity of intention and the honest nature of her empathy and compassion. So the crown that she's wearing represents her authority over emotional matters, and then there are angels and cherubs on the throne here, and they represent love, protection and the spiritual guidance that she offers. They highlight her connection to higher spiritual insight and the divine nature of her compassion and nurturing abilities. So the Queen's gaze is often directed at the cup, and her posture is relaxed. Her focus on the cup indicates her introspection and deep contemplation of emotions, and it shows that she values emotional awareness and the importance of understanding one's feelings, and her relaxed posture conveys her calmness and compassion and her readiness to offer support. So how might the Queen of Cups show up in a reading? So the Queen of Cups is very calm, she's very empathic, she's compassionate and she's very supportive. She has an innate ability to understand the feelings of others, and she encourages us to connect with our feelings and to trust our intuition. She also encourages us to offer kindness and compassion as well as support to others that may need it. So in a reading you may find that you're now being asked to be an emotional support for another person who's going through a hard time, and that you have a very you find you have a very good ability to be a good listener, you're very compassionate and you're very good at understanding the needs of another person and validating what they have to say in terms of when they feel hurt or upset. The Queen of Cups is also very intuitive and very psychic, so she can show up to indicate that you at present are very intuitive. Maybe it's suggesting that you do look into your psychic abilities, what you can do with them, or she can be suggesting that you already work in this area, that you do a lot of psychic work. But she certainly talks about trusting your gut, looking into your dreams, maybe trying to spiritually connect yourself to find answers to your questions using your own intuition. She can very much indicate a healer in the spiritual realm. Maybe you're visiting a Reiki therapist, or maybe you're following that and that's something that you're interested in. So the Queen of Cups is all about emotional intelligence and emotional balance. So she can indicate a person that in a stressful situation can maintain that emotional balance that's needed. She can regulate her emotions, and she's good at helping other people to understand their emotions. She can be assertive when she needs to be, but without having to use any aggression or conflict. And she can make herself understood when she's feeling maybe emotionally kind of challenged, but without it turning into anything nasty. She can she's good at being able to see that even in a position herself where there's a disagreement with another person, in herself, she is able to see still the perspective of another person, and to not overreact to situations. She's very emotionally balanced. Ultimately, though, the Queen of Cups is somebody that definitely feels deeply. So although she does hold that emotion, that ability to find emotional balance in a situation, this is because of all of the work that she's done. So she has been on a huge healing journey. She has gone through all of the stages. She's been probably in the past in the place where she maybe wasn't able to regulate her own emotions. Maybe she couldn't see the perspectives of others. Maybe she couldn't assert herself without the conflict, without the aggression. But now, through her own healing journey, she's able to do all of those things. So she can navigate the emotional realm perfectly now. And this is because of the healing journey that she's already been on. She has already got to the place where she's healed so much of her own wounds, that although she still feels really deeply, and although she will still have times when things aren't going her way, she knows how to navigate through those situations effectively. Also, because of the healing journey that she's been on, she now has a really good ability to practice gratitude and see the joy in things effortlessly. So she can see so gratitude to her can come kind of second nature. She doesn't necessarily have to try it as a practice, because she's been on this journey, and so she's able to see what she's grateful for, or feel gratitude anyway for everything around her, and she's able to find joy in small things. She can at times come up though to indicate there's a need to assert boundaries. So the Queen of Cups, through her work, through her healing, through her now emotional intelligence, where she is in the realm of the cups, she is absolutely able to assert her own boundaries. But obviously the Queen of Cups is still very emotionally giving, and she'll always be there for people when they need her. So she can show up to say, you know, it's good to help others out, it's good to lend an ear, it's good to have compassion, it's good to show empathy, but you need to still have your own boundaries, and you need to look after you as well first, because you need to be okay in order for you to be able to ever help anybody else to be okay. She often shows up to indicate careers or jobs in healing or caregiving environments, and also creative environments too. So like as an artist, but usually the art that's produced would be done in a way to express emotion. So artists who use their art to express how they're feeling. She can show up as a counsellor, a therapist, a nurse, a doctor, or a spiritual healer. But one other career that I have seen her show up for as well, and this is quite often, is actually hairdresser. And I feel the reason for this is because a hairdresser is obviously very, very creative, because doing the hair, that's art. They have to learn how to cut hair, especially with the styles and things like that. So that's the creative side of the Queen of Cups. But also when you go and see a hairdresser, you
it's probably the one stranger that you actually give your whole life story to. I mean, I don't. I tend to not really talk, but that's just me. But most people do tend to talk to the hairdresser, and the hairdresser, you know, it's part of their job to talk to the client, and for that hour or however long it is that you're there, you can really open up to your hairdresser, and the hairdresser, they're very approachable and quite, you know, they encourage that openness in you, which can be extremely healing. So yeah, hairdresser is definitely a career that I've seen the Queen of Cups come out for quite a few times.